Hello, welcome back to another video. They're just all going to fall off. This is my 10 before the end. I'm sorry I'm filming so strangely and the background is terrible, but my bedroom is that full of Christmas stuff. I thought I'd start with two more like children's classics. So we've got Into the Spotlight by Harriet Fletcher, the best children's books I've ever read, Pages & Co. by Anna James. Now I have read both these books and they are both fantastic. So this is about a girl called Tilly. This is actually the second book in this series. I didn't know that when I bought it from a charity shop, and this is book 2. However, it does follow on, but you don't get lost in the story if you just read this, by the way. So I started with this and I still managed to follow the story. I haven't read book 1, but I will be buying the rest of the books. So although this is a 10 before the end, I am actually only 2 books away from completing my 23 goal, because I'm so late filming this that I thought I'd just film it and talk about them, if you know what I mean, that I've already read. So I've read this, it's absolutely amazing. It's about Tilly, who's a girl. She's basically where she can wander in and out of books and experience them as a physical story happening around her as opposed to just reading them. And she goes on an adventure, but there's people trying to stop her, and there's a guy called Enoch Chalk. He wants to disrupt fairy tales, and then a guy called Melvin Underwood, and he is trying to destroy books, bind books, and stop people from book wandering in them. She ends up in Paris with her friend Oscar, and it's about there's plot holes in all the stories and big sinkholes, and can she save the day, basically. Find out why it's happening and save the fairy tales. Fantastic. Into the Spotlight by Harriet Fletcher. Harriet Fletcher is just an incredible person, actress, singer, writer, but this book in particular is about it's about the Pebble Theatre and the 3 children, Marigold, Mabel and Morris. Basically their theatre is in trouble of shutting down, and she needs to come up with a plan to save the theatre because it's their home, they live in it, and it's amazing. It's a real good feel good book. It's based on a little bit on ballet shoes, and a young adult, or even somebody my age, because I'm 27 and I really enjoyed these books, and I'm not classed as a young adult anymore. I'm an old adult in my late 20s. I really enjoyed it. Doll's House by MJ Aldridge. MJ Aldridge is a fantastic writer in general. I've read a couple of other ones of their books. However, this book is one of the best books I've ever read in terms of keeping you on your toes, crime, thriller. It's about basically bodies keep turning up, and dead bodies of girls that keep turning up, but they all have the same type of killer's mark, and it's finding out another girl goes missing. Is she dead? Do they find her? Who's the killer? Your typical whodunit type of book, but it's just written so beautifully that it's so full of twists and turns that you just really want to read more, and I just couldn't put it down. Quickest I've read a book out of all of them. Girl A by Abigail Dean. This book is fantastic, and it's kind of written in 3 parts. So there's Girl A, Boy B, Girl C, and you've just got to sort of connect the parts to children that have grown up to be adults but reflecting on their time of where they used to be abused by the parents, and they lived in this house where the parents were abusing them physically and mentally. And it's mainly centred around Lexi Grace, which is she is Girl A. And it's it's written as not a diary entry, but a real life account of what's happened. This is what it looks like. It is really good. It's not got any illustrations in. You can see, but this book, I don't know if you can see, but this book in particular has the inside of the book is just as gorgeous. The pages it's written on, it's absolutely stunning. It's one of the most beautiful books I've ever read, and also just so fantastic. So if you are reading this, bits of it are in French because they do go to France when they're book wandering, and the glossary in the back of the book a French translation, and I didn't know that until I finished reading it, and then I had to Google all the words, but yeah. It's got that in the back. Moving on to The Racketeer by John Grisham. Now my best friend's Nana lent me this, and it's fantastic. It's one of the best thriller books I've ever read. I've never read a thriller book where I don't have an idea of what's coming, and with this, the idea of what's coming was definitely not what happened, and it literally blew me away, and I couldn't believe what I was reading. I was like, what? I even was telling my mum and partner about it. So this is one of the best books I've ever read. It's about a guy who gets mistakenly sent to prison, and while he's in prison, Judge Fawcett, a judge at a high district court judge, is murdered, and he knows who the killer is, and it's whether he can get that information to the police and whether he can solve the murder in order to get out of prison. And it's just full of twists and turns. all I can say is it's amazing. If you love thriller crime, please read this. I've also read The Midwife Murders by James Patterson. Now, anybody that knows me knows that I read a hell of a lot of James Patterson books, so I am a bit biased, but this is one of his brilliant books. All of his books are brilliant, but this is one of the best ones I've read. It's about Lucy Rynan, who's a midwife, and she's used to guiding expectant mothers through pregnancy, and basically 2 kidnappings and a stabbing happen on her watch while she's at the hospital, and it's finding out, can she help solve the murders and find the killer. But there's also people snatching babies, taking them from expectant mothers, taking them brutally, like doing it like a backstreet type of operation surgery. It involves kind of mafia people. It's just full of twists and turns, and it's such a fantastic book. A little bit of a boring one. I am reading this. I am doing my driving theory, and this is one of my books on my 10 before the end. I've read half of it, so I just need to finish it. It is what it says on the tin. It is just a highway code book, basically. It tells you all about the roads, road signs, hazards, hazard perception, all that type of stuff. And it is literally what it says on the tin, a book about driving, the highway code. So that is on my 10 before the end. It's good so far. This was $3.49 off Amazon, so if you're doing your driving theory, it's got everything in the highway diagrams as well as like pages full of information. So if you are somebody who's doing your theory like I am, definitely recommend this. Both these books by Frida McFadden to read. Now, I am reading one by one, which is, I'll basically read you the back. So, Claire Matchett needs a trip. It will be a break from work and raising children, a chance to repair a damaged marriage, a week of hiking and hot tubbing with friends in a luxurious hotel in the woods, disconnect from the presence of real life. And basically, the car breaks down and the forest is difficult to navigate and they get lost. And the members of the party are struck down one by one. Are they being hunted? By what? By who? As Claire's dream vacation descends into a nightmare, something becomes clear. One of them will return home alive. One by one, they're all going to be killed off, and it's who can save them, who's the killer. I've read like 10 pages, and so far it's really good. She hates her husband. That's all I've got from it. I have heard absolutely fantastic things about both these books from a hell of a lot of people. I have Goodreads. I'll put my Goodreads at the bottom of the screen if you want to follow me, which will be able to tell you all the books I've read this year. Because these are all the ones that I've got that I've read. I have read a lot more. I've given a lot to my friend's Nana. I've also sent books to the charity shop that I've read that I won't read again. Books, talking through them, but I will tell you what I've read and what I'm reading at the moment. So I can't wait to get stuck into both these. These are the last 2 that I need to read. Now, this is one that I'm planning on reading, Cat Who Caught a Killer, which is L.T. Shearer. So this is The Cat Who Caught a Killer. This is the one I'm wanting to read. I thought I'd come up here because you literally can't see it from down there. Meet Conrad, you've never met a detective like him before. Neither has Lulu Lewis until he walks into her life one summer's day. Mourning the recent death of her husband, the former police detective had expected a gentle retirement, enjoying quietly his life on a new canal boat. When his mother-in-law suddenly dies in suspicious circumstances, Lulu senses foul play and resolves to find out what happened. A remarkable cat named Conrad will be with her every step of the way. Basically, it's about a cat who caught a killer. I really want to read this, but I will put a picture up on screen of one of the 10 before the end that I don't have anymore because I've donated it to a charity shop, and it's called The Donor by Claire McIntosh. Honestly, it killed me to part with it because it is such a good book, and I definitely would read it again, but I think somebody else deserves to read that book because it's phenomenal. It's a quick read, so it was like 100 pages. I can't even explain to you how fantastic it is. It's a gritty thriller. It's an emotional read. It is what it says on the tin. It is about a patient who's had a donor organ, but I don't want to spend too much time talking about it because it kind of will reveal the storyline. So that is something that I'm missing from this. This is a bonus read. If I get round to it, I will, but the only 2 books I have left to read are the 2 by Frida McFadden, so we will see how things go. These are all the books I've read and are going to read. Hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. I'm about to drop them all. I hope this was helpful. Let me know if you like these book videos, and I'll see you in the next one.